All right, our next panel is Music and Movement for Social Change. Please welcome the moderator to the stage.
That's me?
Okay.
Okay.
Well done.
Hey! Yali!
Thank you.
Hey! So we're gonna take. Let's go like this. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Come on, to the right, to the left, to the right. Yali, how you doing? Hey! So we're gonna switch things up a little bit, okay? We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. My name is Janeth Bhoke Egina, and I'm from Tanzania. Thank you. And I'm also a Mandela Washington Fellow 2018 from Indiana University. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be a moderator at this session, and we're talking about music, how music can bring about change into our society. So I want you guys to be very, very interactive, okay? And not to be overly presumptuous, but I know a lot of us listen to music, right? We love music, right? I love music so much that I wanted to be a singer, but unfortunately my voice said, no, not for you, not for you. So I'm a TV host, and I love it. I love being a host. I love making content, creating content. Being in such a creative industry is just so good to me, and I love it. And I've been doing that for 10 years. And talking about being in a creative industry, I would like to introduce to you my wonderful special panelist. Now, he's a dancer, he is a community activist, and he's a director for Next Level, which is a hip-hop initiative. He's from the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for House! Hey, 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 hey. Thank you so much. Sit. Now, our next panelist, he is an award-winning artist. He's a performer. He's a founder of Music for Change. And his fans call him the Young Obama. And guess what? He's a Mandela Fellow 2015, all the way from Zambia. Give it up for B-Flow! Hey! Hey!
Give it a bit
Hey! Oh!
She's my energizer.
So much fun today. Guys, keep your questions. We're going to have questions really soon. So what I'm going to do is ask them a few questions, then I'm throwing back to you, okay? First question. Oh, House. Thank you so much for being here.
It's wonderful being here. Thank you, Bhoke.
So tell me your personal experience as an artist. How have you used it to make social change into your society?
So I think that the arts in general is the thing that makes us curious about each other.
Yeah.
So when you think about people that you do not know, like cultures and communities that you're unfamiliar with, you know, you always try to see yourself in those communities, and art helps us do that. So what's the music like? You know, how do people move? You know, how do they dress? What's the fashion? You know, what's the visual arts, the culinary arts? All those things are kind of what kind of lives inside of us and makes us a little bit more open to see ourselves and other people, I believe. So what I do, like particularly, like is I run an organization called Urban Artistry Inc.
Yes.
And we are focused on dedicating our time and energy to preserving urban dance and music culture here in the United States. And that means like not just what's popular, but also looking at the art forms that are part of the diaspora.
Yeah.
The art forms that come before hip hop, looking at funk music, R&B, to blues, to movement like flat footing and buck dancing, these types of things that inspire all of us.
Nice, nice. B-Flow,
Yeah.
you're Mandela Fellow 2015.
Yes.
How has that experience helped you in your journey as an artist?
Wow. Big shout out to the audience. It's been a good journey. So before I ever applied for the fellowship, first of all, I was doing a lot of voluntary work back home through the Zambia Association of Musicians. And we used to tour schools and teach young people about the prevention of HIV, testing, treatment, and many other social issues that we thought young people are interested in. And it was through that network of people that I used to meet through the Zambia Association of Musicians that I met somebody from the United States that introduced me to the Yali opportunity and told me to say, with the amount of passion that you have and the energy that you put into the work that you do, I feel that you should apply for this wonderful program called the Mandela Washington Fellowship. So this was sometime in 2014, around September. And I tried to click the link that this person sent to me. And when I looked at the questions that were there,
Yeah.
I just felt like these questions were designed for me, and I just had no second thought about it. I went ahead and started applying for the fellowship. Thank God I was selected, and I came to the United States. Big shout out to Wagner College. So I went to Wagner in Staten Island, and the first thing that we learned, one of the first lessons that I picked up from Wagner College was the power of networking, collaboration, and partnerships. Yes. So that for me was so amazing. And the moment I learned about networking, I even told myself to say, it starts now. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna wait for myself to go back to Africa and start networking. The networking begins here now.
Yeah.
With the 24 other fellows that were in the class at Wagner, the networking begins. Mm-hmm. With the site visits that we would make to these other places like Generation Citizen, Lifestyle for the Disabled, the Clinton Global Initiative, and many other places that we visited on the site visits, I took advantage of that and started to utilize those opportunities. Yeah. It was a chance for me to meet people that could actually help me even in designing my leadership development plan. Because I know that right now, for our 2018 fellows, obviously you are thinking to say, what's the best way to put this document together? How am I going to make sure that I leverage this opportunity, and when I go back home, I do the best, and I'm not at the level I was before I traveled to the United States. And so the networks that you're making here, all these people that you're meeting here are the actual persons that are able to help you come up with that leadership development plan. So it was the members of staff at Wagner, my other fellows at Wagner, the people during the site visits that helped me come up with this leadership development plan. And then after Wagner, we came to the summit. And at the summit, we got to meet other people even during the expo, and those other people you still continue to exchange business cards. Exactly. Thanks to IREX and State Department for making sure that we have those cards that we're able to dish out to different people, and we keep the network going. And one amazing part of the summit for me was getting a shout out from the president, Oh. It was so amazing, and I kind of felt emotional and went back to my room after that shout out, and I wrote a song about it, and it was amazing. I was singing about my mom and how I wish mom could see how her son, who once suffered, who was in a position of selling on the streets, is now able to mingle with all these wonderful people and making all these strong connections with people. And I was singing, Mama, you the genesis of my story. Why should you be absent in victory? Mama, you the genesis of my story.
Hey.
Why should you be absent in victory? Oh, 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 oh.
Oh.
Nice one. So after the summit, I went for my PDE, and during the PDE, I also got to learn quite a lot of things and also made use of those networks. So I'm saying this because I'm trying to encourage people that are going for their PDEs to say where you're going is an opportunity for you to meet people and continue to keep that connection going.
Yes.
Sometimes when you're placed in a particular organization, sometimes it feels like you are in a wrong place. Like that's how I felt for me, because I'm a performing artist and I felt I needed to be maybe at, say, Akon's record label, Convict Music.
Yes.
But I was taken to a place called OK Africa. And OK Africa did not give me any platform to record. And so at some point I was thinking, am I in the right place?
Yeah.
But it's only making sense now after I had learned certain things that they were doing, like web designing, like certain things like how to operate the back end of a website.
Yes.
And now I find myself in a space where after going back home, I got elected to the position of publicity secretary for the Zambia Association of Musicians.
Okay.
And what that did to me is what I learned from OK Africa happened to be exactly the job of the publicity secretary in the association. So sometimes you may think you're wrongly placed, but you still get to utilize those skills. So it's been an amazing journey. And back home now, we're doing a lot more collaborations with other Mandela Fellows like Lulu Hangala from 2014.
Yeah.
And we're doing the Make Zambia Clean, Green and Healthy campaign. We're working with the likes of Kupa Chiwomba, the likes of John Chidi, who is here. Big shout out to John Chidi.
Yeah.
And so John and I are actually working on an album to promote the plight of children with special needs.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're working together like that. And I've seen another fellow from 2018 by the name of Ayanda Ali Payne from South Africa. And we've worked together as well on a tour with artists like Common, Queen Latifah, Big Nas, and many other people. So I just want to encourage all the fellows here today that, guys, the opportunities that you have here today, make sure that you utilize it to the fullest and never relent. Big up.
Woo! We can finish right there. Yeah, let's go. Is that when you got the shadow, was that the time where you got the nickname the Young Obama?
Yes, so when I went back home, when I got to the airport, I was expecting to find my family waiting for me, but I found my fans waiting for me.
And they gave
there was
you
a thunderous welcome, and they were shouting Junior Obama. So it was
beautiful.
And that's the new name apparently. So we embrace it, and thank you.
Beautiful.
Thanks to Yali.
House, back to you.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
can you use dance movement to bring social change into the society?
So I think that when we look at art as a whole and not just dance, right, we see that in every community, people have a voice, right? And people want to be heard, they want to be seen. If you look at what the United States has done in hip hop culture, what young people did in the South Bronx, is that they were tired of being invisible. So they took what they had and they made something out of nothing, right? Just a few ideas that people had about music, about visual art, and about movement. They empowered themselves. And now you look at what hip hop does right now and what it is in the world. It's like our common language for the youth, right?
Yes.
You know, like you can go anywhere, you know, and you can go anywhere and like people will know something and be able to connect with music and movement that I grew up with as a young child. If it wasn't for hip hop culture, I don't know if I would be the man I am today. Hip hop was my cultural identity. as a child before I realized that I was a descendant of kings and queens.
Right.
You know, right?
Yeah.
So trying to find that identity and trying to connect with something gave me the drive to want to do that for other people.
Yeah.
And not just about hip hop, but whatever people's cultural identities are, where they're at, where they live. I currently co-direct a State Department initiative administered by Meridian International Center and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. It's called Next Level. And we travel to different countries globally with beat makers, MCs, DJs, aerosol artists, and dancers and beatboxers. And we work with local partners and also embassies and consulates to provide training in these hip hop skills, but also with through lines of conflict transformation, entrepreneurship, community building. So for me, I think art doesn't have to be stagnant. You know, it doesn't have to be something that we do for fun. It can be our cultural identities as well. And it's something that we can use to connect with other people. So I think we definitely do that with Next Level. We've been to 24 countries so far, and that's led to many different opportunities. In the last several years, I've been able to visit Morocco, Egypt, Central African Republic, Cameroon. In October, I'll be in Nigeria.
Yes.
So these are ways that not only I can share my culture, what I learned and what I know about hip hop culture, but also what I can learn from people in the countries that we visit. So this type of exchange and this type of connection it's human, it's right, and it's art focused. So.
Okay, nice one. B-Flow, one of the things that I personally, maybe I don't understand, but I'm against, is when politicians use artists, especially during the campaigns. Yeah. What is your opinion when politicians use artists during campaigns?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. Actually, when I...
Have you ever done that, actually?
I've never been used. maybe I've been used to spread a positive message, like to unify people, peace. So when I went back home after the fellowship, the first project that we launched was called Triple V, My Vote, My Voice, My Victory.
Yeah.
And we were using this campaign as a channel to speak to young people, including people in my sector, in my line of work, music, to say, do not allow yourselves to be used as vessels or tools of political violence and hate speech and any other thing that divides the people. You need to realize that your vote is your voice, and there in your voice is where your power and your victory lies, and that's what Triple V was all about. So I don't agree with artists that allow themselves to be used or to work as people representing politicians that want to divide people, especially when it's going to be about go and hurt this side, go and kill your friend from the left side because you're from the right side, or go and attack this other person. I don't agree to that. What I believe is musicians and artists are supposed to be people that unify. They're the ones that are supposed to bring people back together, because you know, prior to elections, sometimes tempers are high. There's so many emotions involved. You want your candidate to win. There's so many frustrations, and artists can only play the role of bringing the people together. So when we were doing the Triple V tour, it was a nationwide tour in Zambia. I actually, we did some music, and we would stage road shows to just go and speak to the people. And this encouraged many other artists to want to join and work with us. And through the US Embassy in Zambia, we also did some celebrity panel discussions to discuss the role of celebrities in the electoral process.
Yes.
And so we made some music, like we did a song called Victory to promote the whole idea. And on this song, we were putting ourselves in the position of every other young person out there to say, guys, it's like we're making a pledge and we're telling ourselves to say, I can be successful without being used by a politician out there. I can actually just use my vote and my voice. And so we were singing together and we're saying, if other people have made it in life without necessarily having a force behind them, I think I too can make it. If they themselves have made it in life, I can also make it. Okay. So we were singing a song called Me Too. Yes. But in Bwembya we say Naine. Can somebody say Me Too?
Me too.
I'd like you to say it in Bwembya like Naine.
Naine.
And maybe you can add some melody and say Naine.
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 Yeah, so we were singing like Naine nkasange chuma chandi.
Naine
ikawama life yandi.
Naine
ikakwata victory. Then you go, my vote, my voice, my victory. Naine nkasange chuma chandi.
Naine
ikawama life yandi.
Naine
ikakwata victory. My vote, my voice, my victory. Naine nkasange chuma chandi.
Naine
ikawama life yandi.
Naine
nkakwata victory, my vote, my voice, my victory. If you want to hear some more of that, come to the talent show tonight.
Okay, on that note, is there a question from the audience? Anyone with a question? Okay.
Me too. I love that.
Okay, I think the gentleman over there with the Tanzanian scarf, right? That's the Tanzanian scarf.
All right, thank you. My name is Lupai. I'm from South Sudan.
Oh.
I'm a radio presenter, and I run an organization which also uses arts to promote peaceful coexistence among South Sudanese. But there are some tendencies where musicians get jailed because of some movements that they start, and the musicians look up to us who are promoting their music and promoting such peaceful coexistence messages to go bail them out. But also, most times, we do get silence. So I need to find from you, what are those strategies that you use to make sure that the government does not hunt you down, especially if you share some messages which might be pricking the politicians or the president in a way. And South Sudan is also a divided community, where musicians mainly sing for their communities, because they want to promote their community and maybe their political affiliations. And most of the times, they are backed up by some politicians, even without their own knowledge. So what would be that encouragement you give people like us who are trying to keep using arts to promote peaceful coexistence in our societies, to make sure we are not easily used? Because at the end of it, sometimes many people do it for the money. Okay, they need to get paid at the end of the day. So what is that encouragement you need to give us so that we keep pushing?
Bifla?
Yeah. That's a very powerful question, actually. Thank you very, very much. I think it's a known fact that right now in Africa, we are kind of losing that freedom of expression, right? That freedom of speech. And it's up to us as young people to realize that we are the majority. Like every other person that has been on previous panels has been reminding us, we have the numbers as young people, and if we are speaking for ourselves, we cannot allow anybody to step on us and shut our mouths. We need to speak up until we are heard. So my encouragement is still centered around networking and the partnerships that we are creating through these groups. It's quite sensitive, and it's not easy when you are working in Africa and you're doing songs. Like one time I did a song called Politricks. And I was saying there's a difference between politics and politricks, because other people are tricking young people and using them for the same things that we're talking about here. And if you are going to get in trouble for doing such a thing, and your fellow young people are just going to sit there and watch without defending you, then as young people, we are failing ourselves. So it's this network that we have that we need to support each other in everything that we're doing. When you start a campaign to talk about the freedom of expression, we should all come together as Yali and back you up. Even if you're gonna get into trouble, we should stand up for you and say, free this person because this person is speaking for us, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we must continue to work together and never be intimidated. You're not alone. We're a big network with thousands of people in Yali, so let's work together and defend ourselves.
Yes.
I'd like to
okay.
add to that question, if I may. I think whenever I hear such a strong question, it makes me take a step back and remember my privilege, like that, I live in a country where like I can say what I want,
Yes.
Politically. And like, I just want to say like, I agree with B-Flow, like you're not alone. And I think that it's a call not to the person who says that they have the problem. It's for the community at large to be taking care of each other so you see where the problems are and you see that your community or someone in your community needs your help. I think it was another great man, Martin Luther King Jr. said, it's not our adversaries that we remember, it's our friends who stood by and did nothing. Right, now that's another strong statement, but I think all of us know what that feels like. So in context, we're talking about art, and we're talking about speaking and expressing ourselves about our current conditions, and I think that's everybody's right.
Yeah.
I don't care where you live. So support each other and know that there's power in numbers.
All right. Next question. I think, yeah, lady over there.
Thank you. My name is Ayaba Gloria Ganyonto, and I'm from Benin. I was at Wagner College. Yeah, my question are for all you, the panelists. Have you ever been in Benin? And if not, don't you think it is time to visit my country, even if we are French-speaking country? Now, in your respective country, does the government has a law or policy that protects singers and their job? If yes, can you give more details? If no, what can you do if maybe tomorrow you are at a high position in your government to protect your singers? Thank you.
Nice. Who wants to go first?
Wow, that's a very, very challenging and powerful question. If God blesses me with, or when God blesses me with that opportunity to be in that position of power, and I have been a singer myself, and I know the challenges that other singers are going through, that they don't have enough, support to be able to express themselves because maybe even the media is a bit intimidated. They feel like maybe if they play that music, for example, maybe there's a way that, or something might happen. Maybe they'll be closed down or something. So if I ever find myself in such a position, I think that definitely I would push for more policies around, protecting people that are in the media industry and the people that are in the arts sector to make sure that they are protected and they have, enough room to be able to express themselves, because I feel in many African countries right now, we're lacking that, and musicians are not really coming out the way they should. And so that's part of the reason why I launched Music for Change, because I realized that most of the music that we're doing now, it's good that Afrobeats is out there and people are dancing, but we're just singing about this girl and this, what I can do to this girl, what I can do with this girl. When there are so many issues that we're facing as a continent, and we can talk about them through our music.
Yeah.
Yes. I have not yet visited Benin, but now that I know you, I want to learn more about Benin, and maybe you could invite me because we are together in Yali, and I want to work with you. So thanks for that question.
I too have never been to Benin, and I'd love to go. As to what we can do for singers and for artists in general, my approach has been a little bit different. My approach has been to spend more time trying to connect the youth to elders in our communities. I currently work on several research projects where I'm connecting hip-hop artists like with blues musicians who are in their 80s and 90s years old. Like, these are our elders, and I feel like we've built our careers on their shoulders. So we're working hard not only to know them, but to take care of them as well. And in their final years, we want to show them respect because they deserve it. And that's how we want the future generations to treat us. So I think that work starts within ourselves. Like, there's only so much we can do with our governments, but there's so much more we can do with each other. How we treat each other is also a reflection of how people from outside of our community see us. So that's my perspective, and that's the work that I'm trying to do, to say to people who are artists in general, if you want to have a future that looks better than the past, then maybe you should look back to the past and bring somebody with you.
Yeah.
So.
Good one. Good one. Okay, we'll go over there. We'll come to that, don't worry. I've seen you.
Good afternoon. My name is Voari from Madagascar. I was at Rutgers University. I run a non-profit organization which fight against youth drug addiction through art. So we do musicals and theater most of the time, and also a song. My question is about sometimes our first enemy is artists, because artists do video clip, and also sometimes we see it in movie where youth are drunk, they smoke cigarettes, and also they smoke cannabis. So it is broadcast all over the country on the national television, and sometimes we can't fight. We feel like we are too small. We are a too small organization. Even if we try to get some ideas, and there is also the financial aspect of the organization, which cannot fight against the big artists who can spend a lot of money in broadcasting this clip video on the television. And have you ever been in the same situation, and how do you deal with this? Thank you.
Biflo, you're an artist, you're a musician, you make videos.
Yes. I also have a big problem with the content that a lot of artists are putting out today, the kind of videos that are objectifying women.
Yeah.
And what they're promoting in these videos, just like with the movies. And that's why I feel that what we need to do now is to increase the numbers of those artists that are doing music for social change. And so it's good that we have people here like the likes of John Chidi and many others that I know have been fellows before, that we can work together with and increase the numbers, because if the majority of the artists who are there are the ones that are putting out content that is going to deceive or mislead people, then that's the amount of impact that it's going to have, and then many more people will be misled. But if we have more artists doing positive music, then even the content that people out there will be receiving and benefiting from will be more positive. So let's just encourage numbers. I think that's how we can help each other. And that's why I keep talking about music for change, and we're tapping talent. Even musicians who are already established, we bring them together and say, guys, let's work together and realize that we have so much influence, but we cannot continue to just sing about anything, but we can put out positive messages out there.
But Biflo, a lot of artists say that the receiver, like, we want those kind of content.
Yeah.
That's what sells.
I believe that an artist is a role model. An artist is an influencer because of the special talent that you have.
Yes.
People are supporting you out there because there's something that you're doing that they are not doing themselves, but they are rallying behind you because you have the talent.
Yes.
And so it means you are influential. If you're going to sing about positive things, that's what people are going to follow. It's the same as when artists endorse political candidates. When the artist tells people to say, vote for this person, you're believing that people will listen to you. So why won't they listen to you when you sing about something positive? So let's just create good content.
Good one, good one. Okay, another question. Yes. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Kapenangu Shuavetira from Namibia, Appalachian State University, Mountaineers. Yes, I run an organization that educates children through arts and culture. So we use performing arts as a medium for communication. And the issue that we are having is that we are having we are working between the ages of 9 to 16 and 16 to 24. But the young people between the age of 16 to 24, they do not want to do music that is educational, because we did record some music on education and all these things, but they do not want to perform. They want to sing the Mother F's and the whatnot and the booty and the cash. So I want to ask, like, from your point of view, like, what is it that we can do to try and change their perspective, or try to make this educational music more fun for the youth, because they do not want to sing, please?
No.
That's a good one.
You want to?
Yeah, sure. One of the things that I've noticed, if you know, like, a lot of current hip hop music, like in the United States, has a lot of negative messaging.
Yeah.
And dance culture also has some of that stigma and pulls right into that. Thinking about solutions to how do you get people involved. There's part of a curriculum that I teach that's education-based, that's focus on positive things that young people can do, right? But there's also a second track that's competitive. Yeah. So the competitive track addresses the world around people. When students leave my building, they go out into a world, and if, let's say, if they're dancers or if they're MCs, they're facing a different thing. So they have to compete in that community too. So I think it's important, to teach them how to use, for instance, like MCs, like teaching them how to rap, like without having to use profanity. Yeah. Like, language is broad, and you can convey what you need to say respectfully, and that's part of leadership. So I think even though there is a lot of negativity out there, and sometimes young people will be drawn to it, but frankly, sometimes that's just the world that they live in. So we have to also teach them how to be productive and proactive, and how to survive that environment that's outside of our organizations. As leaders, we cannot deny young people agency and forget that when they're not around us, they might be going to a completely different situation, and they should be prepared for that. So let's train them for their environments that they lived in as well, not just our primary mission and goals.
And just to add to that, I've faced the same challenge with my record label, Music for Change, where it's difficult to get artists coming and signing with us, because they feel we're going to dictate that they should sing about positivity and not negativity, because some people believe that negativity sells, you know. So we've always tried to appeal to the media to say, if you are promoting more profanity and negativity, then you're influencing young people who have this talent to want to do exactly that because they believe you're going to promote it. But if you're going to promote more of the music that we are making, which has got a positive message and encouraging people about the empowerment of women, talking against violence against women and girls, talking about HIV/AIDS, then you have a lot of young people getting interested in also making music in that direction. So it's still about numbers. We increase the number of the ones that are doing positive music, then we'll manage to kill the numbers of the ones that are doing negative music.
Okay, last question. Unfortunately, yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to go all the way for that. Okay, guys, come down, come down. Come down, okay. Which side? You decide. Okay, let's go. Calm down. I'll come back to you. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been really inspiring, and with this training, I think never has Africa been more desperate for change than now, and I have never been more hopeful than this moment, because I see a lot of changes happening, and then coming here has further inspired and ignited my hope. Wow. But I want to ask you first, the first question is, at what point in your life did you discover music beyond an hobby, beyond just being an hobby? Because back home and in many African contexts, particularly certain community, people who have some talent, they are not encouraged because it is considered that you have to go to school, get education, become a doctor or a lawyer. And what advice do you also have for such people? It is very difficult to change minds sometimes than to change laws. So what advice will you have would you want to give such people to encourage their children or word to get involved in music or develop their innate potential? Then my second comment is on the marginalized community, because it's a demographic group that I care very much about. And I just want to know, what do you do? So many times when I visit such secluded places, you find an array of talents that people unable to maximize their potential from the low and secluded places. So what advice would you give us as young African leaders that we can take back home that can help to mobilize such talents, people who have talent in music, arts, to come on stage and be able to make the most of their lives? Thank you.
So in terms of realizing that music is not just a hobby, but it's a talent that I could pursue as a career, for me, it happened at the age of 8. So when people would compliment me for singing or for rapping or for singing another person's song, I quickly discovered that I was destined to be an artist. And so I just had to pursue it until it was time for me to do it. I was involved in a lot of things during my high school. I was the president of the Anti-AIDS Club. And so music was also one of the channels that we were using to sing about the prevention of HIV. So I discovered it immediately, and once I got into the music industry, it was easy for me to quickly start looking at issues, because I already learned about different social issues and health issues, and incorporated that into my music. So basically, that's how it's been.
Yes. Would you like? We're running out of time, so maybe in 5 seconds.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So for me, my mother was my first dance teacher. Dance was free. So she was really into that. So for me, like, it was a chance for me to connect, with my mom in that way. Like, just having that interaction, her showing me something, me responding, her smiling was something that drove me to want to continue to be an artist. And, you know, I realized by the time I was 17 years old, my mom started entering me in competitions when I was 4. By the time I was 17, I realized that I didn't have all the tools I needed to be a professional artist in the way I wanted to be. So to answer the question, like, for all the people who are artists, like, I think it's safe to say that's not all that you are. And we want to be all the things that we are. We don't want to be half or a quarter of the things that we are. If you are serious about making art sustainable, then you will have to learn other skill sets. You will have to learn how to be a project manager. You'll have to learn how to manage your books and do accounting. You'll have to learn how to inspire people and be a motivator. You know, leadership doesn't happen like on a dream. It happens when you set out to do it. And when you set out to do that, you need tools. So equip yourself. Like, and to the second part of the question, I think that reaching out to marginalized communities should be something that we all do as we obtain success. Like, don't leave no one behind. That could have been you. You know, that could have been all of us. So whatever I'm doing, I always try to include outreach programming, making sure that all my programming is diverse and we're reaching out to people who cannot afford to do the things that we do. But overall, like, this is, for me, these are the things that that a leader should motivate and inspire people to be in service.
Thank you so much, guys. We're running out of time. I wish I could take more questions, but time is over. But I would like to leave you with one thing. Music is a universal language. No matter where you are, what color you are, it all brings us together. Now, in the words of the great Nelson Mandela, he said, if you speak to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. But if you speak to a man in his language, that goes to his heart. Now, music is a language to the soul. Let's use music to bring about social change to our communities. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. A big round out to our panelists. Thank you.
We'd like to thank our panelists, and right now we're going to take a break and resume our program promptly at 3:15. Remember, please use the summit hashtags, hashtag Yali 2018 and hashtag My Mandela Legacy. Thank you.